we have our power banks in our pockets, and all of that is actually created out of material. All of that is created out of metals. And if we think about it, to produce only one smartphone, you need to dig about half of the ton of ore, so of material out of the ground. And so it's a first problem. So we have a huge need in our day-to-day tools that we use all the time. And on the other hand, if we want to have a green transition, if we want to have enough batteries, enough storage, we need to have that. And the problem that these both needs are actually in conflict right now. And the conflict is in the idea that, before 2030, we're going to have about 12 trillion shortage between what we have and what we need. So between supply and demand in minerals. With that in mind, we started thinking how we can help in that, how we can change the status quo, because if we just continue as it is, it will be not enough material. Of course, it will be recycling of batteries and upselling, all of that, but it's still not enough. So our problem is quite simple. We need to produce more materials, more minerals in the end of the day. I mean, if we're talking, for example, about metals, about copper, the production has to be doubled. It was never done in history of humankind. So it's a huge, huge, huge challenge. And with that in mind, we have started to bring in AI and more data to exploration. Because if you look at the life cycle of a mine, most of the time of a mine, which it takes this life cycle, is usually 12 years. About 8 to 10 years of it is just exploration, because it's really hard. It's time intensive. It's uncertain. People put a lot of capital there, and there's a lot of politics inside companies involved, politics inside countries involved. So we decided to shorten this period of time, at least to 2 years instead of 10. And with that, we will save a lot of money to companies who want to do exploration, and we will help to actually put more minerals and more material in the market, which actually will ease this problem between supply and demand that we have right now. So, what our viewers have to understand about the problem, right now we are moving really fast to a catastrophe, to a huge, huge, huge problem in which we will not have enough material. And our solution is to bring more data and more knowledge and more AI towards actually finding new deposits and helping humanity in a green transition. So that's basically, the problem and the solution in short.
Got it. And you just outlined that there is a 10-year of the exploration of these resources right now. Yep. And you want to shorten it up to 2 years. So with the help of what? How do you do this? And which part of the whole exploration process do you make shorter?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to understand the technology, we use the metaphor, and the metaphor, you can choose whatever you like. It's rather the lasagna or layered cake. So we basically absorb about 52 layers of data. It comes from satellites, from ground sensors. Some data is provided by our clients. And basically we layer on top of each other. And basically our AI then goes through it and do a prediction. So if you think about how it's done right now, geologists would, underline the map or unveil the map on their table, see the map, and then try to pinpoint locations in which they believe there were geological predictions million years ago that actually formed some kind of a mineral. We can talk about metal, or we can talk about heat flow for geothermal. It really doesn't matter. So geologists trying to, I have a geological degree, one of our teachers said that, geology is like solving a really cold case in terms of a crime. There is no evidence, there's nothing there already, but you have to understand what happened there just by understanding, something which was, discoveries were done by others. So it's really, really cold case. It's a case, which was done like million years ago. And geology, that's why it takes so much time. You have to put a lot of data in basically heads of geologists, and then geologists will try to understand what exactly to do with that. So we help them by already pre-collecting data, by working with it really hard. So, a lot of people ask, so where do you get data? A lot of data is publicly available, but the problem is not the amount of it. The problem is quality and how to train AI on it. Because if you train, for example, your kid on really bad books, I think you'll end up with, kid being a not really good person and all. You're giving, for example, a bad example to a kid. The same applied to AI. If you train AI on bad material, then AI will actually do really horrible outputs for you, really not connected to reality. So we work with data, we work with annotation, and we actually prepare it in a such way that AI can, in the end of the day, do a predictions. And as drawing to your question, basically we lower amount of output which is needed from geologists, so they don't need to go on the ground on the starting phases. They need afterwards, but right on the start they don't need that. We can scan huge areas globally, so which is a big problem for them. Usually they use old school technologies like helicopters or planes. They fly above it. We can use it basically almost in any part of the world. So with that in mind, we help them to do decisions, because in the end of the day, geologists the head of geology and the head of exploration will do the decision. They will sign the contract, saying that we should go there. So it's a human in the end of the day, but we're helping this human to do a much more informed decision than they used to have before. So that's basically how we lower the time of exploration, and we lower time for them, because one really short thing I have to explain. Usually countries issue licenses for that. And there's two different types of licenses. One type of license is exploration one, and the second one is extraction one. And usually they take some time to go for both. But without technology, for example, they can skip exploration and, for example, start already acquired license for extraction. Or they can do much faster paperwork to applying for both licenses with our knowledge, and not to waste time, going for places where there's nothing. So they can make more strategic and more concentrated decisions in the end of the day.
Got it. So to me, sounds like you are digitizing the part of the process a geologist needs to have in order to explorate some mine, and you are shortening it up with the help of the data you're given, actually the interpretation of this data. Am I correct here?
Yes, and we also bring something new and more to that. So some geologists, for example, are not using the gravitational anomalies or magnetic anomalies, and we actually already incorporate them inside of our model. So sometimes, they may be skeptical towards it, but because model is already one build-up product, basically, we actually give them much more than they would anticipate on using their own. Some people believe that geology is really strict kind of a science, where it's yes or no, but it's actually not. It's more like different schools of thought inside. Some believe in one thing, some believe in others, and it's always changing and always evolving. While we, with our geological department, we're bringing the newest ideas in geology, basically. So we are not only helping them do whatever they are doing, yes, but we're also bringing something new to the table. So we're helping them do even a better decision they would do without using our technology. So in essence, that's it.
Let's talk a bit about the clients and about the users. So like the buyers and the user side. So who, if you can, of course, name those companies. If no, just tell us, give us a hint who they are. Like, who are the companies who are buying your solution, as well as who are the users on the company side? Because I hear that those potentially are geologists, but probably the others are as well.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that the names will give our users a lot. I would just say that there's two types of clients, basically. We discovered the second one pretty randomly, but I will go into that. It's a really interesting story. Well, the first one is quite obvious, right? It's the huge corporations. You can look on them, on their capitalization. They're the multi-billion huge companies. We have some of the clients from them, and what they do, they just scan huge area. They buy up in chunks, like, for example, full regions of a country, for example. We scan it, they pay us fee based on the amount of land scanned, and, off they go. We just give them the prediction, and whatever they do with it is their basically inner decision. We are not influenced in any way. And basically, they are just doing a strategic decision. So it's the first business model. It's a B2B based on a fee model. So they're paying for some amount of data acquired, and then they go. Well, the second one was pretty surprising to us. We started selling. We tried to sell our services to a smaller mining companies, because there are a lot. Market is basically fragmented. There's a small group of huge companies, and a huge amount of smaller companies. So it's a kind of in between, right? There's almost no middleman. And we started to working with the smaller one, and we haven't received any big traction, to be honest. They said, yeah, technology is interesting, but they skipped us, or maybe let's return back after some time. And then when they stood, they're really low on capital. So there's not enough money for them, basically, to pay for our services. with that in mind, we have delivered them, we have actually developed, and right now we have 3 projects like that in Africa, in which we provide our services in kind. So, for example, we don't charge them money for that. Of course, we count the amount that we spend, but we don't charge money for that. But we take equity in mind. So we're taking part of their pie, basically, of their project.
Wow.
And then when they become more bankable, they become more mature, we can either sell it or we can keep it. So the value of our company grows as they grow. So basically, the whole idea, we have this, 2 legs in 2 income streams. One, we acquire and we work, and we have a sales force to work with big, huge clients who are paying, us amount for scanning huge areas. And there's a wonderful opportunity, there's a multi-billion market for that. And in the same time, we're taking advantage of a growing need in material, because we're taking equity parts in already existing market in which we are sure. So in future, for example, if you would, when we show that it's working, and for example, we successfully develop several projects, we basically become a kind of a quality stamp. So, if your project, if you want to start the mines or nutrient, for example, and you use our services and we stamp it, we believe in you, and we took equity in your project, that means that this is a real deal. So we double validate ourselves. From one side, we use our technology, and from second part, we actually take equity in that. Regarding how liquid it is, so how fast we can sell, it's pretty liquid, because whenever a company is listed on a stock exchange, it happens pretty fast. It's not really long. It's like about maybe 2 years. When they have all the documents in order, they can go, for example, Toronto Stock Exchange, or in Australia, some Australian stock exchanges. When they're listed, we can sell our shares immediately, on the price which is there. So with that in mind, it's pretty liquid on one hand, and on the second hand, it actually allows us to balance our sheets. For example, if we, something happened and we don't have a lot of clients coming from a corporate sector, or, they're not interested in buying big chunks, we sell some equity parts and we still have cash on hands to develop our project. So this is basically the balance we have right now. And as I said, we have 3 projects in Africa like that one of them, which I can disclose, in Tanzania, a really beautiful place. And with bigger corporations, we usually scan the area. It's almost all the time as NDA, and we just give them the data, what we have discovered. So that's basically tomorrow.
Sprout Dynamics is a food tech company, and we make sprouting process. It's easy. And we developed the process where we can grow 4 tons per month of sprouts. That is not so popular in Europe right now, because Europe can grow only 1 ton per month. And this process is should be automated. And we decided to build a mini factory where we can grow the sprouts without any human touch, eliminating any biohazards. And it's super efficient. It uses less than 3 liters of water per kilo. And it allows us to make the mass production of sprout, which is not exist now on the market. And we are building this mini factory using AI possibilities, and we are interested to make it fully autonomous.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds amazing, because when we were talking with you previously, you said that these biohazards, they are kind of really crucial in all the process of sprouts raising. So you are omitting this human step. How did you come up with the idea of having this solution at all? So how did it shape?
We had this idea in a COVID times, where, no fresh food, and my partners have children, and we wanted to eat healthy, but no vegetables, or if you have vegetables, they use pesticides and so on. And we decided that we need a fresh food, and we look for this approach, growing seeds. And we got sprouts from this. It's super healthy. It has a good nutrition profile, and we feel great. Yes, it's a healthy food. It's like organic food. But again, we didn't find the mass production solution. It's only like artisanal production, or you can grow it at home. And when we start learning about sprouts, we see that it's not popular because there are a lot of biohazards like Salmonella, E. coli, and so on. A lot of bacteria. You should prove you can eliminate. And no technology exists that can eliminate these biohazards or prove there is no bacteria in your seeds, sprouted seeds. So we start make some science and many experiments about this, how to eliminate them and prove to the market that our seeds are safe.
So your seeds are 100% safe from these human hazards which can occur when growing the sprouts.
Yeah, we developed the manual process that will allow us to make them manually, but again, humans are involved there right now, and still there is a biohazard, and we should prove via laboratory checks that we can produce a hazard-free product.
And yeah, it's really crucial in this type of product because the hazards can cause a lot of things for the health of the people. But you are omitting this problem, so this is amazing. And let's talk about the team because your team is unique. You are really bright and really amazing people in one team. And tell us more about your experience. How did you meet and how do you work right now?
Oh, we met like long time ago, and we are very stable team of women who moved from Ukraine to Europe like time ago. Now we are in Bulgaria, and there are 6 of us in our team already. 3 women from Ukraine and a scientist from Bulgaria, and also we have a process architect who is acting as a CEO of our Danish company, and we also have head of production. So we are experienced and mature managers. We all work in big companies before in IT, FMCG. So we know what we do, but it's still a long process.
Awesome. And what about the other part of the team? So does your team comprise right now all of the 6 people, or there are also other freelancers or somebody else who is working with you on demand?
Or of course, there are many jobs that needed freelancers and our partners. We also work with a company from Ukraine, hardware company, and we make some experiments on our hardware and AI with them. And, for me, it's very important because I work for IT outsourcing company before. It's very important to keep this technical, our production process in Ukraine. Yes, technical production, I mean. And I know that the Ukrainian engineers are super qualified for this job. And I know that Ukrainian engineers are very competitive on the market. And I want to focus on our AI in Ukraine.
Oh, I love hearing that you are giving more job, especially in this time, to Ukraine. So that's amazing that you are working with Ukrainian counterparts. And let's talk about the startup. How does the startup operate? And what is the current stage of the development, and probably which adaptations do you plan to make in the nearest future, or you're making already?
Now we are making all this sprouting process manually, and we really want to move to mass production. That's why we are building this mini factory. It's on the early stage, the mini factory itself. And now we develop the AI functional. It's like a brains of this factory. And we also need, some experiments and R&D that will allow us to work with nature, yes, because sometimes it changes and you don't know why. Sometimes you get one result and sometimes another result because like weather condition changed. So we want to bring all of these external factors together and understand what impact we can have from this environment, yes? And AI will help us in this. So now we are on experimental stage, and I suppose we will be on this stage very long until we build the mini factory. Once mini factory is ready, we consider like real sales, maybe to B2B clients and B2C.
Okay, got it. So let's talk about the developmental costs and where did the funding came from? Because you already, as you said, did a lot of experiments and right now you're working on that. So where did you get the money and how much did it cost? If you can talk about this, of course, because this is a part of your know-how.
We are self-funded company and we also participate in grant projects. Because, there is a social background here and we want to make the healthy world. We want to change the world to be a better place with healthy food. We want to reduce hunger. That's why it's important for us to take part in social projects and we received funding from grants. It's about $500,000 already. We put in this company to make the infrastructure, to make the manual process, and we are looking for funding from venture investments, maybe like $1.5 million. Right now, we're building a mini factory. Mini factory is our major focus right now, and we are looking to become deep tech company, and it's only factory we need to develop right now in order to go further.
So dear investors, if you're listening to this podcast today, you know that there is a cool company from the food tech